Great stuff. Hello, everybody. I know we're getting towards the end of the day here. On the other hand, if we're at Glastonbury right now, we'd be getting into Legend slot, right? So we can look at it as a positive. My name is Kristan Rivers. I'm co-founder of Adinmo. We're a platform for integration of brand campaigns directly into gameplay. So quick bit of background. My co-founder and I have been in the entertainment industry for 2 decades each. I've been doing this since back in the days of WAP and SMS games, if you can remember that far back. My co-founder was co-founder and lead developer for Edge Reality on a number of games, including Tony Hawk 3, several Sims titles for console. And both of us have kind of come to the conclusion that the in-game advertising market today sucks for everybody. What we find is, for advertisers, as a brand, you can't do brand awareness campaigns. All the ad inventory that we've been talking about today, as we've heard throughout the day, relies on a click-through, right? So click here, go do something. So, Coca-Cola can't sell a can of Coke that way, and Chevrolet, they can't sell a Camaro that way. Similarly, gamers hate this. No gamer has ever said, oh great, here's another commercial I get to watch before going back to the game experience I was enjoying, right? At best, they tolerate maybe rewarded ads. And we would argue that gamers don't like rewarded ads. What they like is the outcome from it. So if you asked your gamers, your game players, would you like to watch a video and get 5 coins, or just get the 5 coins? They just want the 5 coins. So they just tolerate it as the price they pay for experiencing the free-to-play game. For developers, it's a really shit experience, right? Your best case scenario, as we've heard, is you interrupt your game you didn't want anyways, and you hope they click on it and leave your game. Probably to download another game, right? Because 95% of all the ads out there are for other games. So it's really, it's wacky that the system has gone on as long as it has. Free-to-play games are here, right? Advertising support is part of the market, despite the fact that the app stores, which is great, the app stores are focusing more on premium titles. Gamers like free-to-play games, they like ad-supported games, but interestingly, they hate the ads, right? So they like the free part, but the ads, 70% plus of gamers and of Gen Z will actively avoid ads, and whether that's using ad blockers or whether that's just putting the phone down and ignoring it for 30 seconds until the ad goes away, this is the experience that we have today, both for advertisers and for gamers today. So we thought we could fix that. We thought we could come up with a better way to put ads into games without pissing off the players and without pissing off developers. So Adinmo is basically, think of it as dynamic green screen product placement. So as a developer, you can nominate areas of the game. It might be billboards, it might be touchable objects within the game. This is a merge cube game, it might be coins, whatever, anything that you can touch. And you put that directly into the game. And we then fill that in real time with brands that are relevant to the player. And we feel this is just a much better experience for all participants in this environment. What we find is that advertisers now can actually do display and brand awareness campaigns. Gamers aren't having to interrupt their game with something they didn't want, and developers don't have to drive their users out of the game. My co-founder has been adamant about these 3 premises of our model. First of all, our SDK has to be integrated in minutes, literally 10 minutes or less. That's our pitch. It takes 10 minutes to integrate this SDK. If it takes longer than 10 minutes, let me know and I will slap around my CTO, because it means that we've got to make it simpler. There should be no performance impact on your games as well. And you should be able to switch this off in real time. If you hate it, then switch it off and you go back to your default without having to release a new build. From a developer perspective, this is what it looks like. We're a Unity 2D texture replacement. Very simple. You just pop it onto the textures you have in the game today, and build and go. One of the questions that probably comes up is, well, so how do we pay out, right? The payout is a CPM model. It's a viewable CPM model. So it's a CPM model with a quality metric assigned to it. So on the back end, we have an algorithm that looks at every single placement within the game. We then kind of aggregate those and look at the aggregate of them. And then we check, was that ad unit actually touched? Was it a coin that you touched, or was it the 3D object that you touched, or was it just something like a billboard that you passed? And we do that every few seconds to see, was that then considered a quality and thus payable impression? So that allows you to have, incentivizes you and incentivizes the gamer to see more of these. We really do try to be as developer friendly as possible. So our focus has been, from the 10-minute integration to the switch it off if you hate it, to a lot of the features that we have in the have come from requests from our developer partners. So we do offline ad serving and tracking today. So those of you that have games that are just totally client-based, you know what it's like in tier 3 countries, India, Southeast Asia, Latin America. People play offline most of the time, and all of your ad monetization goes away. So we cache a number of campaigns. We cache the impressions from them. As long as the game phones home every week or so, we track those. Multiple ad asset styles. Actually, this one has come from Mark, who you're going to hear from here in a second, where we realized that when we put these ad assets, the creative assets, into our platform, not every single asset works in every single scene and every single style of game. So this is a feature that we've switched on. And brand choice is something we do as well. This is something where, never every developer uses this, but the player can actually choose, if you so wish, what ad kind of sponsors their next level or next play of the game. And this has some important aspects I'll come to in a second from a player and from an advertiser perspective. And also it creates agency for the player. So instead of chucking an ad in front of them that they don't care about at all and probably was poorly targeted, now they've actually gotten to choose which ad they're interacting with. Let's skip through this. We're integrated into a number of games. We have developers that seem to like what we're doing. Certainly I would love to hear from Mark here. He'll give you a little bit more about the good, the bad, and the ugly with us. But coming back to the ad choice and from the advertiser side of things, one of the things that we found is we could generate significantly higher brand recall for these types of ad units than video ads. So video ad brand recall, we've run a consumer survey on this. Video ad recall for the interstitial rewarded videos that you put into games today, it's around about 17, 18%. And that's very much in line with TV commercials, if an advertiser is running a TV commercial. For Adinmo ad units, it's 80 to 85%, so it's about 4 times higher. So advertisers love this, and this is helping us drive the CPMs up significantly. As well, gamers prefer it. We ask gamers, what's your preferred experience? Is it playing a game and having it interrupted with a commercial and then coming back to it, or just having the ads, the brands can integrate directly into the game? Of course, they say, well, I'd rather have it. I'd rather not have the interruption. I'd rather have it integrated into the game. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Mark Currie from TinyBit Studios. He has worked with us, integrated our SDK into one of the games that he's developed, and he'll tell you about the experience on the developer side of working with us.
Hi, my name is Mark Currie. I'm TinyBit Studios. We founded our studio about 2 years ago in Ukraine. We make games for females. We believe this market is underserved because most game developers are male. One of our recent projects was to help another developer with a rise to fashion type game. And the publisher was thinking about how to increase the game's revenue. One of their ideas was to integrate ads. The decision to integrate ads is not always straightforward. Many successful games decided not to integrate ads. The question is why? To help answer this, I'd like to share our experience. Integrating ads takes time. In our case, we had a junior Unity programmer. He spent 2 or 3 weeks putting in alpha walls, rewarded videos, interstitials. Remember, there's a fair amount of UI work, and then you have to integrate ad SDKs. If you're using third-party SDKs in Unity, you probably need to set up custom build steps for both iOS and Android. This work is not fun. Your programmer is not going to thank you for being assigned this. So this chart shows the game's revenue leading up to right before we released the build with ads. After integrating ads, our total revenue actually dropped. The red bars show what was earned from ads. The blue bars show in-app purchases. Our app purchases dropped considerably after adding ads. Okay, disclaimer, this chart is only for one game. We didn't get any opportunity to revise or optimize how the ads were served. We did an A/B test, but this was our experience, and I wanted to share it with you. that on your first attempt, it's possible to lose money. A day after integrating ads, we got this review. The game itself wasn't nearly as interesting as they made it out to seem. This tells me the marketing team did a good job. Newest update has ads playing. It's definitely not worth it anymore, uninstalling. Okay, we were worried this would happen, and it did. It's also possible that rewarded videos were rewarding too much, so players had less use. A/B testing is important. Make sure you have time for that. Ads in mobile games make up about 17% of total revenue. To me, that's a low percentage, but it confirms our experiences with traditional ads that integrating them has drawbacks. So for our next game, we're thinking about how we can do better. We're currently developing a fashion game. The cool thing about our game is that all the items exist in the real world. This makes the game more immersive for the player. If they select an item, they can see the real world version on the brand's website. If they make a purchase, we potentially earn 10% of the purchase for the referral. There's a lot of affiliate systems out there. Amazon, Zalando, ASOS are some big ones. So for our fashion game, we decided we didn't want to do traditional ads. We discovered Adinmo at a games conference where I met Kristan Rivers. Adinmo allows you to place ads in the backgrounds of your scenes. It's analogous to product placement in movies. Earn $8 per 1,000 impressions. That's pretty good, especially since the ads are not clickable. The SDK is pure C#, so the integration requires no special build steps. This is how Adinmo ads look in our game. On the left, there's a ball box ad at the bus stop. We reduced the alpha for the image down to 65% to reduce the brightness. Initially, it was too bright, but now it matches the scene. In the middle, there's an ad on the cardboard box on the floor. This is a bright scene, so we left the alpha unchanged. The image is small, so we don't get a full image credit unless the player zooms in, but that happens a lot. We understand that the ad should be visible to get credit, but where they draw the line is something that we're continuing to talk to Adinmo about. Previously, we as developers, we had no visibility on what was a valid impression, but recently they added a visual tool in the Unity editor, so that gives us clear feedback on that now. On the right, we have an ad, Desert Vet. We reduced the alpha of this image so that it takes on the green color of the background, which matches the lighting of the tennis court. These ads they fit very well with the scene. We're expecting no negative reviews. Okay, this is wish list for Kristan. We'd like to see support for themed ads, such as it would be cool if they had stylized ads like for a fantasy game or whatnot. We think they should add support for other platforms other than Unity. We'd really love to have an option for transparent backgrounds. It would make it easier to match with the scene. It would be nice to have more options for aspect ratios, also round ads. We are soft launching our game in the spring. If you'd like to know how that goes, feel free to email me.